Good afternoon. Good to see you again. Just a quick review. We have been going through a video series here talking about scaling a business and the unintended impact on employees. And the whole idea is that we can get so wrapped up in scaling a business that we forget the employee part. And this whole video series is to encourage you not to forget the employee part because it's too important. It maintains engagement level. You don't want your engagement level to start off at 100% or nearly 100% when you're really small with a handful of people, which is very natural. And then as you grow, you start losing the engagement. And as the engagement level drops down to the US average of 33%, your resignation rate starts to decline. And every time you replace a resignation, you're spending on average at $34,000, and it's just better places to put the money than replacing somebody you should have never lost in the first place. So this whole onboarding process that we talked about up through the previous video is a process that will ensure that your business grows through the continual scaling life cycle, right? Not an event, it's a life cycle. And as a result of the onboarding process, it will not matter who does the hiring or the training. I made that point early on that a dynamic shifts when managers come on board and they hire people with a different mindset than an owner did. Well, this onboarding process pretty much takes care of that because we're treating the employees as individuals, which is who they are. So it won't matter who does the hiring or the training. The result will be engaged employees who know that the leadership team, which includes you, supports them as individuals, and they will support you. You take care of them, they'll take care of you. So today I want to move on, and I'm going to go through. There are 12 pain points that employees have, and this information was gathered through interviewing 2,000 people across the country in 17 states, actually. And it's a compilation of the result of the interview. And I have to say, when this was done by my business partner, and when I saw the results of this, I was astounded, to be honest. And when I go through this list, you may be astounded as well, but these are real. These are things that people, employees, do not like. Okay. Number one, the first one I already mentioned to you. End of year appraisals are degrading and useless because it's just a check mark off a list of activities. That's why we say don't exceed 6 months. And if you're in a normal review cycle, like we defined in the previous video, you'll be fine. Next one, low or no levels of problem solving. That's why I even bring them up. They just fester. That's one of our jobs, is to keep a smooth running operation. If something comes up, find a solution, right? The best thing is if your employees are helping you find a solution. They do the work every day. They know the solutions to the problems. You want to give them a reason to want to engage and actually do that. Low or no people leadership. This whole video series is on people leadership. This is the foundation of all interaction with employees. Without it, we are only managers. So that's what we're teaching here, is to be an employee leader, a leader of people, as opposed to a manager. Next one, my boss does not know my name. This is basically an expression of bosses not knowing their employees as individuals. Instead, they just know them like who punches the clock, so to speak. Here's another one, left in the dust to fend for themselves with management changes. The question becomes, now what? In the corporate environment where there's a constant rotation of leaders there, probably more so than maybe in small business, but still, whenever there's a change in leadership, employees tend to be a little bit defensive. They say, now what? What's this impact going to be on me? So the important is to be open with it. Talk about management changes. You don't have to get into the deep digs of the business, but just say there's going to be a management change. We're doing this, that, whatever. You guys have done a great job. I'm sure you'll make the changes smooth. And it's important. that management changes can be smooth. And a lot of that smoothness comes from the people that are there. Here's another one: little or no job evolution or expansion, yielding boredom. And that is, boredom is one of the number one issues for stagnation in employees. They move from thriving to just surviving because they're not excited about their business anymore. And then in the back of their mind, they're looking for something new. You know, a statistic I heard when I first came into the coaching business is that 65% of employees were open to getting a different job. That's a sad statistic. And that's exactly what this one is saying here. All right, we want to keep people engaged. Next one: low or no tangible appreciation or contribution for contribution. So why do it? We talked about that yesterday about appreciation. Low or no meaningful reward or recognition. We talked about that yesterday as well. There's more to just coming in the door and saying hello, right? Got to recognize what people do. No mentoring or selective mentoring that only benefits the business. People like to learn things. It's like when you ask them the question, is there anything else here you'd like to do? If they say yes, cross-train them. It's to their benefit and also to yours. The next one: poor incentives, if any. In other words, there's nothing out there to maybe motivate people to do something a little bit extra. This next one I find pretty surprising. We talked about this heavily on the last video. Poor training. Remember the onboarding process. This is one of our biggest responsibilities. And people are claiming they're poorly trained. Not good. The next one: an emphasis on education versus experience when it comes to filling jobs. Now, this is a reflection of, do you have a promote from within process where people can have opportunities to do new things? This is a key motivational culture characteristic. All right. So those are the 12. Surprising on some of them, wouldn't you say? I found them surprising, but they're real. They are real. That's what many people said. So let's take it on. All right, now I'm going to talk about management training that creates leaders. And I'm going to go through a lot of things here. I don't expect that you're going to retain all of it on one pass, but just listen to what we're going to go through here and grab onto the nuggets that apply to you. Some of you are going to be doing some of these things, maybe some not. But these are things that I have learned over the years, and I've been at this for a while, that will make you a great leader. So here we go. Remember that what you focus on, you empower. Employees know who the boss is. They naturally pay attention to you and where you put your focus. Even if they're reacting to you as a manager, they know where you are, right? But what you focus on, you empower. Remember, this is 24/7. We're on the job 24/7. If you focus on the positive, so will they. The result is a team that thrives and works together. If you focus on the negative, they'll also focus on the negative. I've seen this so many times, and people wonder why employees are not happy. The result is a team that is not inspired. They're stagnant. They will not work well together. Who wants to work with someone who has or will sooner or later fail? And whenever you have negative issues, do it behind the door, not in a broadcast scenario. Nobody wants to hear their name broadcast in a negative way. Perception is reality until proven otherwise. Another 24/7 topic. You need to be aware of how people see what you're doing. It's easier if you know your employees, because again, based on my experience, I've been doing this for a long time. When you know your employees, you have a relationship with them, they'll let you know if something's off base. I've had excellent examples of that through my life. Be concerned about their well-being, and you will not give them a bad perception. Lead and manage from a perspective of service, providing them the best environment possible. I should say reasonably possible, right? Okay, here's one that I really I like all of these, obviously, but this one has a lot of power in it. Take care of your inner circle, who are people who are around you regardless of circumstance, and they will take care of you. I'll give you three examples of inner circles. Number one, your family. They're there, right? They're always the same. Regardless of what happens, they're there. Number two, close friends who are with you through thick and thin. In other words, if it goes good, they're there. If it goes bad, they're not. No, they're there all the time. Your close friends are an inner circle. The third one we're talking about here today, your direct reports in your business. Now, the direct reports will change over time, but they're fixed at any point in time. Can you just imagine what would happen if every leader took care of their direct reports? Wouldn't it be a good environment? From the C-suite to the frontline supervisor, if everybody took care of their people, it would just be a better world. Continuing on, live the golden rule. Just do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Of all the advice I ever received when I first got started, this was a golden nugget for me. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's worked. It worked with me on day one, and it's still working. Give your employees a reason to trust you. Also, it's not about you. You are only as successful as those who report to you. It's about them. Make them make it about you by following you. So you take care of them, they'll take care of you. Never fails. I'd like to also talk about leadership skills. There isn't a single list any place that will tell you how to be a successful leader. Leadership skills are gathered over time. You can't pick a list, take 10 lists and say, okay, if I do this, I'll be great. Doesn't happen that way. Leadership skills are gathered through life. We carry our skills in our golf bag, like PGA players carry clubs in their golf bag. Think of it this way. When the golf course of life can be played in many ways, and our skills determine our options. Life isn't a straight line, is it? But the skills help you deal with whatever's happening. So, as you walk through the golf course of life, as the condition requires, the skill is used. Thus, it's good to keep adding skills to your bag. Whereas PGA players are limited to 14 clubs in their bag, our bag of skills is unlimited. We can just keep adding and adding and adding, which strongly implies we never stop learning as well. So here's some more skills. Honesty, integrity, and sincerity. Kind of obvious, I think. Always be willing to put yourself in your employee's shoes. That's a powerful place to be. If you're wanting to do something and you're not quite sure how it's going to be reacted to, put yourself in their shoes. How would you react to the situation? In fact, most of the training things I gave you on developing employees, put yourself on the other side and see if you would have appreciated being asked, where would you like to be in 3 to 5 years? Here's a recommendation, in fact, a piece of advice I received from the district manager that promoted me back at my beginning. Be firm, fair, and friendly, but not friends. That's another group. Be firm, fair, and friendly. It's great advice. Retain the values that gave you your opportunities to start with. You know, there's a possibility, it's a tendency that as we move up the ladder and we get higher and higher responsibilities, we seem to forget what happened in the past because now we're in a bigger chair. Don't ever forget the past. That's how you got there. Keep using the values that got you where you are. Let your work speak for itself. It speaks a whole lot louder than you trying to express to somebody what you can do. Let's take a look at one of these: humility. Focus on the team. Listen. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them proportionally. Do more listening than talking. Pass the credit on to others. Admit your mistakes. Sharing credit with people is very powerful. Here's the bottom line, really. You, me, we are serving our employees so they are motivated to work under our direction. Motivated to work under our direction, our leadership. They're following you, right? As we get to the close of this video, management training that generates leaders, remember this: leadership is a marathon, not a sprint. And it's an approach, not a goal. It is how you walk out your life. There is a goal, many of them, but how you get there, that's what we're talking about. Keep your cool. Don't burn bridges. I'll give you a quick example. When I was a brand new supervisor at UPS, one of the guys that worked for me in the unload area of UPS had nearly graduated from college. So he graduated, was in accounting. He got hired by the accounting department, UPS accounting department, where he then became a full-time supervisor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm still in my college years. He's graduated. Life goes on. I get a full-time UPS job. I get transferred from one office to another, get transferred into the general accounting area, and guess who my boss is? The guy that he used to unload for me at UPS. So never burn a bridge. You never know where you're going to cross it again. All right, the objectives of solid leadership include building an engaging team of people who will follow you and remain with you through the challenges and the victories. And get this one, ready? Because they want to. Employees flee managers, they follow leaders. So I encourage you to put the information we've shared in all these videos to good use. Your team is depending on you. So after you've gone through these videos, review your notes, decide what you are going to do. We receive lots of good advice. But the difference between receiving advice and changing life is intention and action. You can't watch these videos and think anything's going to change with you unless you do something. I'm being very direct here. I've seen it fail too many times when people don't take education and put it to good use. So decide what you're going to do, even if it's 1 or 2 things to get started. Identify habits that you need to change. If you engage intentionally day after day until new habits take over, you'll be good. It takes about 21 days to do that. There's a book out there called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. It's a massively good book. It's worth the read. It talks about habits. Embrace your new lifestyle. Enjoy your success and enjoy your life. And remember, scaling grows companies successfully through people. It's been my pleasure. Good luck in your future. Put this to good use. You'll be a leader. Have a great day.